Hey folks, Barry, blasters in the desert out here, in the desert with my blasters. I wanted to talk about light today. Weapon mounted lights on your carbine, on your pistol, handheld lights if that's what you're using. I'm out here right now. It's about 5:30. Sun's going down, which gives me a perfect opportunity to talk about backlighting. As you can see, I've got a target right there. It's about 10 yards out. With the sun sitting down behind it, it is a little tough to see it. You can make out the silhouette of it. It is a standard silhouette target. It's got a little white, I marked a little X on it there. I'll explain all that, the reason for that in a little bit. Well, first of all, what I wanted to talk about is, like I said, overcoming that background light, that backlighting, that barrier there. So, in a defensive shooting, if you've got a bad guy right there, you've got a threat coming with a light. People sometimes talk about, well, you have too much light on your gun. You're going to blind yourself. You don't need it. There's ambient light, whatever. And that's baloney. You can never have too much light. And as you can see right behind me, yeah, it's still light. Like, you can still see me. The camera's still focusing on me. I've got my headlamp on here. I'm going to use that here in just a little bit as I start talking about more lights. But as you can see, you can't really make out any features on that guy. There's nothing really to it, of course. Believe it or not, this camera on this Note 9 brightens it up a lot. From my perspective, it's actually a lot darker than it probably appears for you. But so what I want to talk about, want to show you is just how much difference it makes having that light. So again, this is the basic, this is just basic silhouette target. I'm at about 10 yards from it here. I'm going to demonstrate with my, this is my Surefire, this is the Streamlight HLX, ProTac HLX rail mount. This one has been serviced because some of them are just not very good. So this is a replacement tail cap. It still cuts out a little bit, but Streamlight has offered to replace it. I just haven't taken them up on it yet. I'm not going to knock them for that because the light does come on, and it does generally work. So as you can see, there's light coming back behind that guy, but I can't make him out. So with the light on my carbine, if I know that this is a threat coming in, or if I have good reason to believe it, but I need to see that, I need to make that positive identification, I have a couple of options, of course. I can shine light straight at the guy, and if it is a threat, then I'm ready to engage. Or I can do aim my light at the ground, off to the side, get a little bit of a spill, splash. If I'm indoors, I've probably got some walls that I can bounce that light off of. But as you can see, having this light with that backlight, being able to shine that light makes all the difference. Once you can see that threat, then you can engage it. You can positively identify and you can engage. Again, this is 1,000 lumens on the Streamlight. I've also got the Surefire X300U. This is the older model, so it is the 600 lumens model. But again, from this distance, with this much light, I'm able to positively identify that target. I can put the light directly on it, make out everything I need to see. So now I've got that target, and I've got another one a little bit further down. I'm going to take a break for a few minutes and wait for the sun to go down and get a whole lot darker. I'll be back. Hey folks, Barry, blasters in the desert out here. This is sort of part 2 of my nighttime video. I had to switch out my ear pro because hearing lots of coyote out here, and these electronic ones help me hear it a lot better. So anyway, so let's talk about lights. First thing you'll notice is that I do have this is a handheld here. This is a Surefire G2X. This is the Pro model. This is a dual output, so it's got 100 lumens and then 600, I think. There. If you're going to carry a handheld, I personally like the dual output like this. The lower output is great for just seeing my way around, little administrative tasks, things like that. If I need to see a little bit further out, I can of course brighten it up. Again, I've got my little target here about 10 yards out, cardboard silhouette target. Again, at this distance with the low output, can't see it, sure, looks fine, whatever. With the excuse me, higher output, of course, whole lot more splash there, a whole lot more definition and easier target identification there. So that's the handheld. Second one that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to put this right here so that maybe you guys can actually see me while I'm doing this stuff. Second one I'm going to talk about is our what's on my pistol here. Again, this is the Surefire X300U. This is the older model. This is the 600 lumen model. Just for safety's sake, this gun is clear and empty. Hammer is down. Triggers decocked, just for everyone's information, for your safety, or else somebody will complain about me not clearing guns before I start doing this. So again, 600 lumen model here. This is great. It's got plenty of output. It lights up anything I need it to. I can use it. Again, here's my target at about 10 yards. We'll turn this guy off here. As we talked about a few minutes ago, a couple of different options for illuminating a target at this distance. There's a splash, which is basically what I'm doing right now. You guys can probably see me. There is no gun pointed at me. This gun's pointed straight down at the deck. Fortunately, this desert sand is nice and bright, nice and sandy brown, so it kicks up a lot of that excess light. If I do need to engage the target, identify a target in front of me, again, I can shine this down at the ground here, even if it's off to the side, off to the right, to the left. When I do need to engage on the target, I can get straight up to it. So again, like I said, I marked a little X there on that target. One of the reasons I did that was to demonstrate the need for target identification. If you come into a hallway, something like that, and you see a silhouette there, if your first instinct is just start blasting it, you're doing it wrong. What you got to do is you got to identify what that target is, who that target is, before you can engage it. So what I did is, in my house, I've got kids. I got little kids at home. So the X down there basically just is there to stand in place of a child, a shorter person, we'll say, a little tiny person. And so if I come around, I see the target, see him down the darkened hallway, I don't want to shoot because I don't know who it is. As soon as I'm able to identify it, then I can start taking my shots. So, what that looks like. Again, I come around, I see the target, I can splash it, see that that is a threat, identify what the threat is, where it is, what size it is, how tall the guy is. If I need to take a particular shot, get my shot placement into a particular place, I know that I can do it with this. Leave that light on. And I can engage the target and get a whole bunch of smoke in my face if I need it, if I have to do that. So again, that's the X300U pistol. It is loaded now, so I'm not going to point at myself. But again, you point it down at the ground. If you are indoors, you might be able to do the umbrella, shine it up at the ceiling, floorboards, whatever you got to do to get that light on your target. So that's handhelds and pistol. The next thing that I want to talk about is the setup that I have here. And what this is one of my rifles, my carbines, that has set up with a pistol, a handheld light on it. So this is also a single output Surefire G2X in a VTAC rail mount system there. I have it indexed set up to where my support hand thumb can reach to it. Over onto this side. Since I've got this front side post here, full length rail, right, my thumb here is part of my standard grip. When I need the light, it's right there to push the button. So again, with a rifle, just like with a pistol, if I need to, I can shine this light down at the deck, get some splash coming up off of that to be able to identify targets. My target here in front of me, I can see it there. I can shine down at the feet, off to the side. I'm shining this probably 5-6 feet off to the left, off to the right, whatever I need to do. Once I've identified what that target is, I decide that I do need to engage it. Oh, well, all right. Let this be a lesson. Let's not do hex mags. So that's, I don't even need to shoot with that. That's okay. So that's our lesson. That's the handheld light mounted onto a rifle. Again, I'm not sure if you can see it. About 100 yards out, I've got a steel plate, steel target up there. It's got a red chem light hanging on it. About 100 yards out. I hope that you can see it. If not, like I said, I'll walk down there a few minutes and we'll see it. From this distance, if I need to, even with this is a fairly low output light given modern lighting technologies, but that target can be illuminated just fine from here. I can see it, I can see the outline of it. Now, if I don't know who's coming, I may not trust that as positive identification, but at least it can tell me that the noise that I heard out there is a person and not, not the neighbor's dog sneaking in here. All right, so the next one is, of course, this is the Streamlight HLX 1000 lumen. Again, pointing it down here at the deck, getting plenty of splash. You can probably see me okay from it. If I shine it here at the truck, shine it just off straight down at my feet. Again, this one's even better. Plenty of splash off of this one. I don't need to get anywhere close to that target in order to be able to see exactly what it is. 10 feet off to the left, I can see that target. I can engage them if I need to. Off to the left, to the right, whatever it happens to be. As soon as I identify what that target is, if I need to engage it, I can come up and make my engagement. Easy enough. At 100 yards, our 1000 lumen light is pretty spectacular. Hopefully you can see the difference there between the two. I'll show them side by side here in just a few minutes, But with this one, I'm much better able to identify what that target is. I can pretty much see it. I can make the outline of it. Again, it allows me to see if it's a person, neighbor's dog, if I'm out in the country and having problems with coyotes, like I keep hearing out here. I don't know if you guys can hear them or not. Then from this distance, if I need to, I can engage it with this light. So I'm going to try to get it. Hopefully I can do it. And hopefully you guys will be able to see it. So it is lit up. I can see it from here. And that's the hit there. Getting a lot of smoke up there. So, I'm going to go ahead and clear this and keep the light down here pointed down so that you guys can probably still see me, but I do want you to see that that I've cleared this. So that's as clear as it's going to get. Got a couple rounds that dropped out of here. Let's the waste not, want not, fellas. So the differences in engagement distance at something like 10 yards versus 10 yards here at this cardboard. You can see the 1000 lumens works pretty darn good. This is the side-by-side of the 1000 versus the 600. 600 on the left, 1000 on the right. you can see the brightness is obviously much brighter, better spill, better brightness on the spill. At 100 yards, the 600 is lighting it up. I mean, I can see it. Obviously, the 1000 is presenting a lot better. Now, both of these are going to put going to be better for the engaging that distance than with the pistol. However, that's not to say that the pistol can't do it. Now, I'll tell you for absolute almost certainty that I will not hit the target, but with just these 600 lumens on the Streamlight here, the Surefire, I can see that target down there. Again, this may not be enough to allow positive identification of exactly who that target might be, who that threat might be. But again, it helps me, lets me know if that target is a person, an animal, whatever I might be looking out for. I'm going to take a shot at it just for the hell of it. This federal ammo is driving me crazy. I wonder if... Right. Another thing that I want to talk about is people talk about these compensators in the darkness, using a compensated pistol, shooting compensated pistols in the dark. As you can see, I just took a couple of shots. There is a lot of smoke that comes up off of this, but there's a lot of smoke coming up off of any gun when you shoot it. I'm going to show you here real quick. I've got a nice berm, almost 360 degree berm here, so I am still shooting in a safe direction, away from any kind of potential anything that might get in the way. So just to show you with unlighted shooting of the compensated pistol in the dark. I do still have ammo in there. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this just fine. So you can see it. There's a lot of flash coming up off the top, off the sides, but I'll tell you for absolute certainty that does not affect my sight. It doesn't affect my ability to see the target, to determine what the target is, to take follow-up shots, to focus on my sights. Again, I am using a Trijicon RMR red dot. The dot bounces around in this light. You do not lose the light. So I'm actually going to show you. I think I got one left here, so let's see. Let's send it way up there again. Missed it. All right. So that gun is clear, and I want to show you. I'm going to pick this up. I want to show you, walk down there, show you guys where that target is in the dark, and I want to show you also. Alright, so like I said, one of the things I wanted to show you was what these this Trijicon red dot sight looks like in the dark. So there's the light, you can see it there. This gun's now empty and cleared. So as you're shooting, as you can see, that red dot does still appear. I know it's a little tough to catch it on the camera, but it is in there. Get it up on the shot a little bit. As we find the target, red dot's just fine. So anybody who tells you that red dots wash out with your weapon-mounted light is totally wrong. If your idea of shooting at night, engaging a threat at night, is just having night sights, well, here's what you can see. There's the night sights. And if you tried to engage that target in front of you, you would be doing something terribly, terribly wrong. So, like I said, let's walk down, see how far we got to go before we can see that that steel target down here. See if we can see it there. Not quite. Maybe if we put 1,000 lumens on it there. Yeah, so there it is. Right there in the middle of your frame. All right. So, again, like I said, that's a 3/4 size IPSC target. Out there, we were shooting that, illuminating it at about 100 yards. And that's going to be it for tonight. I am going to get the heck out of here before the coyotes get to me. Hopefully they don't show up before I'm gone. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in for a few minutes. If you got any questions, let me know. Comments, whatever. Do your thing.